And look at Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher S. Nils Core clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Core. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my God, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail when it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to round number 7 of the Formula CDM European Series here from the delightful, the beautiful, and the stunning Red Bull Ring in Austria. Those of you that were watching Formula 1 around the same time as me would know it as the A1 Ring back in day, but right now we are just prepared-ish for a wonderful night at the Red Bull Ring. Chaz Draycott in the commentary box here with the delightful Dara Thacker alongside me. Dara, you had your first introduction to the Formula CDM European Series last time out. Now, well, it doesn't even feel like 10 minutes ago, does it really?
No, it's been a short week since our last race, but very different circuit that we're coming to. Whereas we were at the Hungaroring last week with tight, twisty sections, particularly through Sector 2 and Sector 3. Here at the Red Bull Ring, every single corner is going to present you an overtaking opportunity, particularly in these race cars. So this is going to be an interesting one, and it could shake up the order a little bit from last week because of the characteristics are so different.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a little bit more demanded of the drivers here in terms of just patience, I think, compared to what we saw at the Hungaroring. As you can see from the calendar here, we are just one round away from the end of the season, which will take place at Imola in a week's time on the 26th of November. That's again going to be another difficult circuit with a lot of different characteristics, but it's been a hell of a season so far and a lovely, lovely calendar. Now, as a result of Fraser Smith not being here last week, he has also had a drop score applied, so he has actually gained points from the Hungaroring. There's only 2 points in it, but interestingly enough tonight, Dara, no Aaron Smith here tonight. This is Fraser's chance now to take the championship lead heading into the finale.
Yeah, and even a chance for the likes of particularly Lee Aberdeen to catch up. Sam Fitzpatrick a little bit further back, but he could maybe put himself into that conversation. But of course, with Fraser Smith and Lee Aberdeen being teammates, there'll be obviously question marks over that as they also look to wrap up that team's championship together. But yeah, obviously, with it being the penultimate round, it's a big day in the championship, but it does mean because the championship leader isn't here, we won't have a champion tonight. Yeah,
it's going to be a very interesting one to say the least. But you mentioned Lee Aberdeen, and he is certainly in a good position right now to support his teammate in taking the team's championship. There are at present a total of, let me just figure it out, 164 points available. They are currently 82 ahead. So if he and Fraser have a decent night tonight, then they will wrap up the team's championship in the first ever season of the Formula CDM European Series. There was a few penalties and things to look at after the previous round. Aaron Smith got knocked out of the points in the feature race, so he scored 0 points there, which is why the championship is suddenly so close once again. But that has also triggered his drop score for now, as it was his lowest scoring meeting of the season. Fabio Grassetto is not going to be qualifying here tonight. He got a qualifying ban, and Jack Reeve also got knocked down in terms of positions due to his incident with John Tusting and a few others at the end of the night. Kevin Zemstra has been having an interesting season up to this point, hasn't he, actually, Dara? Now, still, oh, hello, he's having an interesting night as well. 5th place for him at the minute in the championship standings. Not too bad whatsoever, but he'll be hoping to capitalise a bit more on that here this evening and jump up maybe to fight the top few.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to do it now, don't you? You can't really wait till next week. You've had long enough in the championship to have to go for it at this stage. This is going to be an important qualifying session. I say that because, yes, this is a circuit you can overtake, but there are so many straights here that you get a lot of what I would generally call dead time in the session, in that, yes, you've got a little bit of slipstream, but you are spending a lot of time where you can't really gain or lose too much. Up towards turn 3, down towards turn 4. There are only 10 corners on this racetrack, and so whereas at the Hungaroring you had a corner after corner and they flowed at you, and you had a couple of little straights that you could dive at the end of, you probably had more overtaking opportunities over the course of the race there than you will here. So I think it's going to be important in qualifying to get a good position early on and just to put yourself towards the front of the field, because you don't want to give yourself too much to do. Yes, of course, after the first race we'll swap around that top 10, but I think you'd rather be getting yourself into a good position early on to minimise the amount of cars you have to fight through later, just to make sure that you can stay in that front train, because once you lose the train here, you're going to be in a bit of a world of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of slipstream sort of dependency here tonight, but it's going to be an interesting night of racing, I'm sure. This circuit, like I said in the driver's briefing, very, very underestimated. Michael Jones is getting ready to leave the pit lane now, as you can see.
There's 16 minutes 50 left on the clock. He's supposed to be leaving at 16:30. And yeah, he'll just be crawling up to that white line, getting ready to go now. These guys all get given a certain time that they leave the end of the pit lane to go out on their laps. Unfortunately, we don't have Victor Oliveira or Chris Humphries here tonight, so Michael will be the first one out. Robert Lundgren and then Francois Brandet should be the next guys out, but again, those two not here tonight as well. So after that, it will be Martin Kenyon, but we go on board with Michael Jones for quick installation lap of this place, Dara, and I mean the undulation, the climb up to that turn 2 is just beautiful, isn't it?
And really one of the most picturesque circuits in the world, if not definitely Europe. I mean, it is an absolute stunner, isn't it? If you just can get off that hilltop, you can kind of see actually a bit of the ledge up from turn 2 that you can. I think we've seen multiple times in the past, where the TV helicopters go up. There's a few people sitting up there watching the circuit. It really is a beautiful circuit, beautiful part of the world as well. And it's almost weird to have this kind of racetrack here, isn't it? You know, undulating, but also very, very fast. And very, very, well, it's fast and then, you know, quite low speed corners. Generally in circuits with a little bit of elevation, you get more flowing corners, a little bit more Fuji. Yes, you've got the final sector, but this very much static in some of the corners, but it's a great circuit. We all love it.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this place. Have had the absolute pleasure of commentating there before for Clio Cup Europe, and it was one of the most unbelievable venues to go to. Unfortunately, only one visit so far, but hopefully another in the future. It is a delightfully pretty racetrack, and certainly one that provides good racing as well. Not many corners here, but it's quality, not quantity. Michael Jones then crosses the line, and he will start the first qualifying lap of the session. And he will head up towards turn 1. You'll see the drivers doing that. They'll be running very wide on the way into the corner and on the way out. There's a lot of runoff here. Something that's going to be the topic of conversation, I'm sure, over the course of the evening. But you have to use every inch of a track like this, don't you, Dara? As you've said, it's a high-speed circuit, so you've got to use every little bit to carry whatever momentum you can, especially in a slightly lower-powered Formula car like this.
Yeah, and through turn 3 as well, really important traction zone, particularly when we get to the race, because of course of that run down towards turn 4, and it is such a heavy traction zone that you can gain or lose quite a lot of time in that acceleration phase, so really critical to absolutely get that nailed on, particularly by the time we get to the race, but also in this qualifying section as well. You can drift a little bit wide at turn 4, as we've just seen Jones do there, but you don't want to go too far wide. Gravel can bite you, and that's one of the reasons I think why this circuit is great in terms of that mix between old school and new school. It has got that element of you've got to be very careful on the track limits, because it will bite you if you go too wide. But at the same time, it's wide enough that you feel like you can race without the fear of immediately going into some gravel. So there is always that danger, but it is just far enough away to make it tempting.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to see quite a bit of overtaking around here tonight, not just with the slipstream, but the fact that, as Dara mentions, this circuit is so wide, a lot of track limits questions will be raised as well. Jones crosses the line, 3 purple sectors for him, and he puts the first time on the board, I'm sure. Yes, he does. It is a 1:29.142. The next driver will be Danny Weir. He's just come round the first corner now in car 55 for EMKA Racing. Danny currently sitting in 22nd place in the championship, the final driver that has scored points so far this season. Oh, dearie me, he's really locked up the rear there on the way in. That's, well, he's probably still a valid lap, but he won't feel too great about that.
No, he won't. And again, he couldn't lose a lot of time. I think he just about got enough rotation to get a good exit out of turn 3, but it's still not the best start to the lap. Also, not really noticed that it's last week, but the 55 looking remarkably like Carlos Sainz Williams, isn't it? Which is a nice distance to it. But yeah, he'll make his way to the end of the second sector now. Turn 6, I think it's an underrated corner in terms of how much time you can really lose through here, because it requires a lot of commitment, and particularly in these cars, it's difficult to judge exactly where that limit is going to be. And so we can see some big changes in terms of, or big differences in speed through that corner. That could catch a couple of people out. 2 more corners to go though, and they are pretty high speed here.
Yeah, Danny really pushing through this sector into the final few corners. He's certainly using all of the circuit. He's keeping the revs nice and high as well. And across the line he goes. He's going to pull over to the right. He gives it a bit of a weave as well. Clearly not too happy with the lap.
And it does not go on the board, unfortunately, for Danny Weir. Next up will be Michael Jones' teammate at Team Verde, Simon Price. Got his first points of the championship last week, and he ended up getting 6 of them as well, with a top 10 finish after the penalties in the feature race. Fantastic stuff for he and Team Verde. That only means now that one team is yet to score points, and I believe that is the Dragonfly competition team this season. Across the line goes Simon Price, 0.2 of a second quicker than Michael Jones. Solid time indeed by him, and he goes on to provisional pole position. Next up, Philip Miles in the Hikawa racing machine. Lovely looking car, reminds me of a cross between a sort of Tyrrell and a Minardi, but with a bit more blue on it. But Philip has had an unfortunate run of finishes, or well, non-finishes this season in the features. He got 2 10th places back at Hockenheim, and then he scored points in the feature race at the Hungaroring, but other than that, he's not finished a feature race this season, so I'm sure he's going to be hoping to continue the finishing run at least, let alone in the points.
Yep, and again, as we've said, wider track, probably a good place to do it here at the Rebel Ring, and also I think Travis know quite well.
He's decided to bin that one.
That's not even the pit lane, is it?
No.
He's going to this support road.
I was going to say that looked like a much later pit entry than we usually see, but Philip unfortunately binning that lap and has, well, decided to call it a day. This man's doing well though. Martin Kenyon, 2 purple sectors so far.
Yeah, and with a couple of drivers already. I mean, we've had 4 drivers come through, and only 2 times have been set. Careful on the track limits through the final corner, Mr. Kenyon. He will run to the line. It looks like he's going to go fastest. How much is that gap going to be? Difficult to say yet until it pops up on the timing page. The timing tower says a 29.1. It's actually a 28 flat, nearly 0.8 faster. I was going to say how many drivers are going to see in the 1 minute 27s, but if Martin Kenyon's right on the limit, I think we're going to see quite a few.
Yeah, I reckon so. Lovely lap that by Martin Kenyon. Regains that pole position provisionally by about 0.8 of a second. Stuart Clark next up. He's been having a pretty consistent run in the championship recently. Had a bit of a tough time at the Hungaroring after a couple of incidents. I think he got collected by Victor Oliveira. Purple final sector for him. He lifts off the gas across the line. He's still half a second down though. That shows you just how good the rest of the lap was for Martin Kenyon. Next up it's going to be John Tusting. He was involved in a fight with Stuart Clark that got abruptly interrupted at the final part of the race. And again, the cars just, they don't look comfortable going into that penultimate corner, do they?
They don't, not at all. And I think it's part of the fact that you can't really go flat out, but you're pushing as hard as you can. And drivers just hanging on for dear life. They know this is their one and only chance as John Tusting goes second. They know this is their one and only chance to get a lap time on the board, so we're going to push to that limit. And yeah, I think that's why we're seeing them so squirrely through there.
Certainly is. We've got the 2 Darrington Francis cars coming up next. Their lovely matte black livery with the gold and chrome branding down the side. And that is wide by David Whitehouse, but he seems comfortable there, so I think he knows he can get away with that and that as well. I think as long as your wheels stay on the red and white section, you're all right. Purple final sector from him, and he runs along the grass all the way down, still just second fastest behind Kenyon. What about his teammate Jack Werrell? What can he do in the 65 machine? He comes up over the crest of the hill into the penultimate corner. That looked a lot quicker by Werrell. He's certainly a confident young man, and he's quicker than his pace. I was going to say he's quicker than his championship position sort of leans into, but I don't know if that lap will have counted. Oh, it does! Wow! I could have sworn that was out of track limits, but fair play, Werrell.
I don't know who he's paid at iRacing, but he's given them a fair amount of money, hasn't he? That looks well off the circuit. And the first driver in the 27s, that's the 7th time on the board now. And we've still got a few to come, but yeah, a couple. The likes of Miles and Weird not selling a lap time. I'm surprised that wasn't invalid as well. Shows that there could be a couple of drivers who are further down the order in the championship with still many times left to go that could be bumped up the grid order purely because they've set a valid lap time here. So that's something that we have to keep an eye out for. But yeah, that was as close as it can get, I think.
Yeah, that really surprised the pair of us. I mean, I'm just amazed by that. But Werrell, like you say, will be very grateful to the iRacing gods that he has managed to hold on to that time. Ben Chalcraft next up in that lovely reverse Damon Hill tribute helmet as he glides his way around. Look at the steering lock. You know, he was just basically keeping the wheel straight through the second part of the corner. He's run wide there. Sam Fitzpatrick says you've got to stay on the green rumble curb at the last 2 corners, so that's fair enough. Thank you very much, Sam. That's where the limits lie. And you'll see now Ben running nice and wide. Look, he's on the green section, really using all of it. And then again, out wide there, tucks it in, across the line he goes. Love this view from in the grandstand. Purple final sector. Is it enough for pole? No, it's not. 30 thousandths of a second for Ben Chalcraft. And he does not quite get pole, but he goes onto the provisional front row. Jack Reeve, big incident at the end of the feature race back at the Hungaroring. He's going to want to put that one behind him, but I'm going to carry on reminding him on the commentary. Into the final couple of corners he goes, and again, we're getting more and more commitment out of every driver, aren't we?
Yeah, the further they go up the championship, the more they want the points. The more commitment they're ploughing through turn number 9. Let's see. Jack Reeve to the line. Where's it going to put him? That looks like it's going to go fastest, actually. It will do. I think, actually, we can kind of guess here. The time that it tells us at the bottom when they cross the line is about a second slow. So we can have a bit of a guess about how fast they've actually gone. But that has gone to a 27.6, and that is nearly a third of a second faster than Werrell. That is a bit of a benchmark for the rest of the chase.
Really, really solid time. Alex Fretwell says he's freezing to death in his rig tonight. The temperature has very suddenly dropped in the UK this week. Let's see if he can hot things up on track. Maybe second. Yes, it is. 60 thousandths of a second between the top 2. What about this man? Thiago Marteau. No purple on the car, but I tell you, he's setting the timing screens purple, isn't he, Dara? And this is what we expected. First ever driver to take 2 wins on the night back at the Hungaroring.
Yeah, he's on a hot streak of form. He's gone a little bit wide at the final corner, but clearly that must be allowed. And they've done it. Let's see. Let's see if this counts. It shouldn't, but let's see if it does for Thiago Marteau. Purple, purple, purple. It looks like oh my goodness me. Well, I guess when you abuse the track limits that much, no wonder you find a second chance.
Oh, it's the outstanding stuff from Thiago Marteau. It was either going to be fastest by about 9 tenths or it was going to be an invalid lap, wasn't it? It was going to be one or the other. Amazing stuff by Thiago Marteau, the Dutchman, straight to the top. Matt Hoyland now round the final corner. He's pushing on after a pretty solid season up until the last couple of rounds. He's had a few incidents here and there, not always his fault. Big contact with his teammate last time round. Where does Hoyland go? 4th fastest, behind Reeve and Fretwell. Very, very solid time all the same, but not enough to get himself up into the front row. What about Kevin Zemstra? Spoke about him earlier. He's rapid, but he's just not had a good run of form himself. Contact with Aaron Smith took him out at the Hungaroring. He's pushing hard now.
Yeah, nearly going too far wide again at the penultimate corners we've seen, but who knows where that line is for a valid or an invalid lap. To the line he goes in the number 25. This looks like it could go to the top 2. It does go to the top 2. Splits that Marteau and Reeve gap nearly in half, 4 tenths back. He's about half a second faster than the second row, which is not a bad place to be from P2. But we'll see if he stays there. A couple of drivers, very quick drivers still to come. Sam Fitzpatrick the next.
Absolutely, yeah. Sam was a little bit miffed after the feature race at the Hungaroring, and understandably so as well. He got a post-race penalty that dropped him right down the order, cost him a lot of championship points, and he's going to hope to regain those here tonight. We're in Austria, not too far from the home base of Flaxen Sport, the German team, but will Sam be able to score them some big points just around the corner? 8 tenths of a second off, 4 tenths still off Zemstra. Shows you just how impressive Zemstra's time was. And there's only 2 cars to go. And we know exactly who they're going to be, don't we, Dara? These wonderful, I don't want to call them silver arrows because they're not Mercedes, but it's what it reminds me of. As is that Lee backing out? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, Lee Aberdeen, what has happened? Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be as well. Right at the back of the field, has to work his way through and hope that he can, well, maybe get into that reverse grid for the second race, but that'll be his target. He's going to start right towards the back of the field. What of Fraser Smith, though, through the final couple of corners? He will set a valid lap time in the number 67. Up towards the line he goes. Is he going to be anywhere near Thiago Marteau? Is he going to be ahead of Zemstra, Fitzpatrick, Reeve? The time looks like it's going to be P2. It's P3. Oof. Well, that's a satisfying gap, but to be third, half a second off, that is some hefty margin for Marteau.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that, though, I think, Will Fraser. Still not a bad lap at all. He's ahead of Fitzpatrick. He's ahead of Aberdeen, very importantly. 5 drivers there without valid lap times on the board. Philip Miles, Danny Weir, Fabio Grassetto, of course, with a qualifying ban. Lee Aberdeen as well, not setting a valid lap time.
We also have Connor Hatfield, who's been having some network issues. He didn't go out on circuit. But it's an all-Dutchman front row at the moment. Well, say at the moment, it will be. It's going to be Kio Tiago Marteau and his countryman Kevin Zemstra alongside him. I think Fraser, though, like I say, he'd be quite pleased with that lap time because it means that he's ahead of most of the people he wants to be ahead of. I know Kevin is there-ish in the championship, but between the two of them, there's a 54-point gap, so he's hardly going to be looking over his, well, like this, is he?
Well, exactly. That'll be the aim, right? As we get in towards the races. But yeah, Marteau's unlikely to be looking over his shoulder. I think it's going to be an interesting fight towards the front in this opening race because there does seem to be a little bit of a gap between, second, third, and fourth, and then the back end of the top 10, which is close, mind you. Likes of Hoyland, Werrell, Chalcraft, Kenyon, Whitehouse, very close times in there, but all over a second behind Marteau. I think the guys towards the front, the likes of Fraser Smith, the likes of Fitzpatrick, how they battle in the opening race is going to be interesting. If they can get away from that next group of cars, that'll, of course, give them the points, but put them behind the others for race number 2, but would suggest that they can make their way through early. And with a longer race as the feature, I think that'll be what they're targeting, but we'll get a couple of pointers for it in the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We've only got about 30 seconds of the session left to go by the time the drivers make it back in. It will tick over into the first race of the night, the 15-minute sprint race. But it's important to get the pit lane entry practiced as well here because it's quite a high-speed pit lane entry, isn't it? And we've seen drivers have their races made or broken by the simplest of penalties.
Yeah, and it's not really talked about much, is it? The pit lane when it comes to races, even in things like endurance races. The little variables that you get in the pit lane, no one really works on, do they? You don't practice, per se, going into the pit lane at every single circuit. You're more going to be focused on where you can gain or lose time around the circuit. But those little variables can gain you or lose you chunks of time, and enough that if you're in a train of cars, could cost you some good positions in the race. And so you've got to be wary of them.
You absolutely have to. All Dutch front row then. Kio Tiago Marteau alongside Kevin Zemstra. Fraser Smith, with a hope of taking the championship lead, starts alongside Sam Fitzpatrick. Jack Reeve and Alex Fretwell are next up on row 3, with Hoyland alongside Werrell. Then we have Chalcraft and Kenyon on the 5th row of the grid. David Whitehouse and John Tusting make up row number 6. We then have Stuart Clark alongside Simon Price, and Michael Jones was the final car to set a valid lap time. Lee Aberdeen, Fabio Grassetto, Philip Miles, Hatfield, and Danny Weir will be starting towards the tail end of the 20-car order that we have here for tonight. Any potential estimates here, Dara? It's hard to know with the sprint race, isn't it?
Well, I think the boring and safe option is to go with Kio Tiago. Goodness me, Kio Tiago Marteau. There's too many O's and G's in there for you to get right.
Yeah, I think I once called him Diego Marteau. I think that's his Spanish cousin.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he looks like he's going to be the fastest. You'd be hard-pressed to see past him here.
Well, we'll have a look, shall we? Round number 7 of the Formula CDM European Series gets underway from the Red Bull Ring, and it's an even start for the front row. Not the best getaway for Sam Fitzpatrick. Alex Fretwell looking into the middle. Jack Reeve wants to go in there as well. They're 3 wide just behind into turn 1. It's getting a little bit feisty. Fretwell put himself in that situation. Hoyland has now gained a place. It's Reeve that's gone wide. John Tusting's lost a few places in the background as well. And look at this train here with Chalcraft, Werrell, Kenyon and Whitehouse involved as well as they head up towards turn number 3. Oh, Kenyon's off at the left-hand side. Good evasive action there from him. Lee Aberdeen hoping to gain places from further down the order as well. He gained a few, but now he's actually back to where he started. Grassetto has gained 2. Lively first couple of corners here, but touch wood, clean for now.
Yeah, it just shows that there are a few drivers down there that are looking to move through. Lee Aberdeen, of course, didn't set a lap time, still starting P16 with 4 cars behind him. So, yeah, a few drivers looking to make their way through. Grassetto was going to be one of them. We'll have to see if they can make their way towards the top 10. Hoyland looking to try and overtake Alex Fretwell inside line at turn 6. He's going to get that one done and pull ahead as they end the second sector on the opening lap. I thought for a minute off the start that Zemstra had a chance at the inside line, but he was too far back to make a real send at it. And Marteau has kept himself in front. We'll see if he can pull from here, but the top 3 have pulled away from Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, they absolutely have. A really, really solid start for the top three. Fraser Smith will be happy with that as well, hoping to take the championship lead after today, and he's right in the slipstream now of Zemstra. As we look again in the background, Alex Fretwell's got a slowdown penalty. He's going to have to slow down, hopefully out of the way of other drivers. As he heads up in towards turn one, he's going to lift maybe a bit early, brake a bit early, Reeve down the inside. Werrell wants to take advantage as well. Werrell gets a good run out of the corner, and so too does Ben Chalcraft. Grassetto, oh, there's drama there. Tusting and Price both losing positions. Everybody clinging over to the right-hand side of the circuit. Tusting moves over to block Danny Weir. Connor Hatfield's had a good start to the race, by the way. 4 places gained as well as Fabio Grassetto. Alex Fretwell has only just finished serving that slowdown penalty, which is seemingly bonkers. He had it for a long time. Oh, dearie me. Simon Price scaring everybody. Danny Weir is the one that's had a spin, though. He's lost time and position and all sorts. Let's have a little look here, though, at the move up there with John Tusting and Connor Hatfield.
Yeah, let's have another look. This is, well, what we've just seen, isn't it? Tusting inside, or sorry, on the outside, well, gets pushed wide by the 9, and then everyone's just trying to walk through. And then further up the hill, when they get to turn 3, it was a half spin from Danny Weir, I think, that Price kind of, well, couldn't do anything about. Went to the back of him. You can't really blame him for that because he had nowhere to go. But that is why Danny was around and off the back of the field.
Yeah, an interesting start to this race for sure. Lively as we expected. Jack Werrell running a bit wide there in towards the final corner. Seems like he got away with it. Jack Reeve is now the one with a slowdown penalty out of the last corner. Fastest lap of the race by Fraser Smith, by the way. He's gotten ahead of Kevin Zemstra, which happened during the replay. So we'll obviously have another one. This is how he got the move done. Well, slipstream is what we expected, Dara.
It is, and you can see it working. It's not the most powerful thing, but it's enough to get him just about alongside up towards turn 3. Brakes later. There's the car behind. He stops it in time on the apex and gets it out of the corner very smartly. And that's a pretty textbook overtake up at turn 3. Brake later, claim the inside line, don't allow the up and under, and get out towards turn 4 with a little bit of an advantage. So good work from him.
Yeah, lovely, lovely move that by Fraser, and great respect from Kevin as well. Left him the room over on the left-hand side. It's getting feisty here between Alex Fretwell and Jack Werrell. Hopefully not wheel-to-wheel contact on the exit. How many times have we seen that this season? Fretwell moves over to the left a little bit, just to say to Jack, come on, give me a bit more room, son. I will squeeze you. Whoa, wheel over the wing, just very close through there. Chalcraft has got the best view in the house here because he's sat right behind these pair having a good old ding-dong, and he's thinking, come on, gents, sort it out. I can see Reeve getting away in the distance. Now Chalcraft is in that horrible situation where he's right up behind the car in front, but he's not close enough, or he's not far away enough, I should say, to get a decent slingshot from the slipstream. That's the sort of caveat, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you just don't want to be too far away from that slipstream, is it? Look at the exit, though, from Ben Chalcraft. That is absolutely perfect. He'll have an inside line on Alex Fretwell towards turn number 1, and he's going to get a slipstream advantage from Jack Werrell as well. Inside line, he's going to control it, and that should be the position done. Although Fretwell around the outside is going to keep it.
Whitehouse!
Chalcraft's going to lose out. It's a Whitehouse as well. This is not where he wants to be. He could see 3-4 come past. If we have a spinner in the background, that's Hatfield.
Yeah, Connor Hatfield around and off the circuit. But yeah, Kenyon and Whitehouse, fantastic opportunism there on Ben Chalcraft. What was a great run out of the final corner. Ended up losing in positions, but that's the nature of the Red Bull Ring, everybody. That's just how it goes. God, you'd be absolutely fuming, wouldn't you, if you were Ben Chalcraft? We'll go on board with him again. We'll just see that run, because he got a wonderful slipstream here. And he did have the run initially, and then as they levelled out a bit, Werrell then starts to give him even more slipstream. But watch Fretwell round the outside here.
Brakes later, gets the move done. Oh, and then it's the little slide, isn't it, in the middle of the corner for Ben Chalcraft that kills the momentum. And that's what allows 1, 2, and there's the third coming through. And from what looked like such a fantastic exit in the final corner, it's a little bit of a disaster, really, with the positions that he ended up losing. But he's still 11th. But that battle for 10th is going to be fierce, isn't it, in the final 10 minutes?
It really is. This battle could be quite fierce as well, actually. Sam Fitzpatrick there with Matt Hoyland right up behind him. Hoyland in the Wave Racing Tech car. We've got 8 different teams in the top 8. How cool is that? I do plan on you doing a little graphic for the car numbers moving forward based on their team colours, so we can at least identify them a little bit more easily from a spectator's point of view next season onwards. The next season of the Formula CDM European Series is set to be announced soon as well. It will be the Americas Series over in the United States and over to Brazil, in Canada as well.
Should be a real laugh, that one. Should be good fun, as these guys all fight tooth and nail to the end of the race. Fabio Grassetto hoping to get into the top 10 and obviously reverse grid pole position. Same with Lee Aberdeen as well. You get points down to 10th in the sprint race, so it's the all-important position that all of these drivers want, isn't it?
It is. Oh, as Aberdeen gets to the inside on Chalcraft, he was looking at P8 a second ago. He's now P13. That's just how quickly things have changed in this train. Aberdeen is through. Wary of Grosseto as well, looking to get through. Careful though, because he's just in front, just trying to avoid Martin Kenyon on the back of Whitehouse and Fretwell. That is a very tightly packed train. Werrell just off the front of it, trying to keep himself clear, but if he can, that'll save him a hell of a lot of the time. Kenyon a little bit wide, but not wide enough to pick up any kind of slow down, which is what Jack Reeve will have to serve. He's off the back of William though, and too far ahead of Werrell to make a difference. Inside line for Whitehouse in the penultimate corner. You don't see that one too often.
No, I don't think that was the wisest move by Whitehouse. He may have gotten the position, but he's put himself right at the front of this train of cars now, and it's not really a train, it's more of a block. We've got Grassetto losing out to Aberdeen. Chalcraft's getting the slipstream as well. This is exactly why we wanted to come to the Red Bull Ring. The racing is going to be frenetic all the way until the end. The slowdown penalties for Jack Reeve and for Michael Jones. Grassetto around. Grassetto has a spin. Tusting doesn't know which way to go. What a style. He absolutely styled that out there. But we still need to go back to the front of this because Whitehouse is back under attack now from Alex Fretwell. And Whitehouse slides into the corner, loses the back end a little bit. It's easily done. We saw it happen a lot at the Hungaroring. Goodness me, these boys need to have a lie down.
Yeah, here's Lee Aberdeen trying to come through just about enough of an overlap on Martin Kenyon to lay claim to the outside line in front. Fretwell's going to have the outside line on Whitehouse as well. Is Aberdeen going to hang it in there? No, he'll cut back a little bit, but then get the power down early and keep himself on that outside line. It'll become the inside line by the time they get to turn 6 as they're side by side in front. Fretwell inside line of Whitehouse, that's his position. Aberdeen, can he get P10, the all-important P10? Not quite yet, because around the outside, Kenyon's holding on. You don't see someone drive around the outside of these two left-handers too often. He's doing his best to go wide. Through comes Chalcraft. Can Chalcraft now have a go at Aberdeen for the top 10?
You said holding on, and he quite literally was holding on through there. Was Martin Kenyon. Fair play to him. Carried immense speed around the outside. Fastest lap of the race by Fraser Smith. He's closing in on Thiago Marteau, by the way. The slipstream is clinging into that car. They have cleared Kevin Zemstra by about 2 seconds right now. We've got further battles going on here, though, between Whitehouse and Fretwell. Those two not wanting to break away in unison by the look of it. Oh, here's the slipstream. Look at that. They've mucked it up through turn 1, fighting each other. Aberdeen goes through on the right-hand side, and Chalcraft can see some freebies coming his way as long as he stays in the slipstream as well.
They're somehow nearly 4 wide up towards turn 3. They're 3 wide behind Lee Aberdeen as he'll have the inside line. Chalcraft backs out. Outside line, though, for Whitehouse, trying to hook it all the way through. It's not going to work out. Well, it may just about work out because Aberdeen's slow off the exit. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead, Marteau being overtaken by Fraser Smith, and he's going to have the outside line. Marteau will have to defend the inside at turn 6.
Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen Thiago Marteau get overtaken, but neither have I really seen Fraser Smith get overtaken either. These two absolute titans of the series. Keogh, clearly the fastest driver here on paper, but he's come into the season halfway and doesn't have a title hope. Fraser Smith does. He needs to not overdo this right now, does Fraser. He could sit in second place and just gain championship points. Aaron Smith is not here. Fraser Smith has used his drop score for the season. He doesn't need to fight this hard for it. What a drive by Lee Aberdeen, though, by the way. Now back up into 8th position. 8 places gained from where he started in this race. He's just going to be hoping and praying that he can break away from these guys, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he can try, but he hasn't been able to do it of late, as no one's been able to do it in the last few laps. They've just been running line of stern lap after lap. Here comes Whitehouse in the slipstream again. Then you've got Fretwell and Chalcraft nearly side by side. Chalcraft on the inside line. You can just about see, but he won't be able to claim that. Fretwell will claim the racing apex, but is Aberdeen going to stay ahead? We'll wait to see, because Fitzpatrick is fighting with Hoyland. Hoyland up the inside. He's P4, but a good one around the outside means that once again the drivers are going to be locked side by side towards turn 4.
This is absolutely unbelievable. There's action everywhere. Don't do it. Don't do it, gentlemen. You don't need to. There's no need to. These cars will bang wheels and they'll go flying off. Sam knows that as well after the Hungaroring. He and Aaron Smith had a little bit of contact here and there. And, well, Sam was the one that went pinging off the circuit. He was trying to force Aaron to take a tighter line, and unfortunately it backfired on him. Whitehouse is losing Lee Aberdeen here. They have all actually lost Jack Werrell. Look, he's over here. He's gone. Werrell has disappeared. It's not often Werrell disappears because he's about 9 foot tall, but he's disappeared for now. But yeah, great fighting in the midfield here, Dara. This is wonderful to watch for P10.
Yeah, I mean, you can just about see how much they're pushing for it right now. For Alex Fretwell and for Ben Shalcroft as well, the difference in finishing, in 10th and 11th is going to be huge. Not really because of the extra point that you can gain, but really because of the starting position for race number 2 and what that's going to be able to give you. Just be able to stay out in front, maybe keep your nose out of some battles for a little while longer is going to be key. Can Shalcroft, again, with a great exit out of the final corner, get this move done? He's been on the inside line before and it's not worked out. He's learnt from his previous mistake, got back to the racing line and will try again towards turn 3, but be careful because here's Fabio Grosseto, who, despite spinning at turn 1 in the train, has found the train again and has found a chance at P10.
Absolutely amazing. Again, Fabio Grosseto, he's absolutely rapid, he's absolutely fearless, and he's absolutely ferocious. Sends it down the inside of Chalcraft, but look, Chalcraft uses the run around the outside to hold the speed. Grosseto is absolutely fearsome. He loves a good send, he loves throwing it down the inside. But right now, that's not going to help him or Chalcraft. He's still going for it again. He knows that the slipstream's strong because of how far he's come back from. Chalcraft says, no, I'm going to mug you on the exit. Back down the inside. That is lovely racecraft by Ben Chalcraft. You've got to love that. Grosseto's still down the inside, though. So Ben's going to give him the room. Oh, you could see him second guess it there as they went through the left-hander. We've only got 2 minutes left of this race. I want it to go on forever.
Yeah, I think we're going to get 2 more laps, actually, because it's only 1 minute 30. And the leaders are about to cross the line, so we should get 2 more laps at the end of the... Yeah, we will, so there we go. No white flag just yet for Fraser Smith and Thiago Marteau, which means that even if the drivers further back who would cross the line with under a minute 30 to go will get that extra lap. Hoyland's going quickly to try and re-overtake Sam Fitzpatrick there. They are towards turn 1. Then you've got Jack Reeve a bit on his own and Jack Werrell as well. And then there's the train. Lee Aberdeen just about disconnected himself from it. Whitehouse, Fretwell, Grosseto, Chalcraft, all together at this stage. Grosseto fighting hard to get up the order. He's ahead of Chalcraft and he's going to be looking at the 2 in front of him, fighting side by side towards turn 2 with his lips licking his lips, I think is what I was trying to say.
With his lips freshly licked.
Yeah.
Up towards turn 3. Whitehouse takes a wide line to hopefully get a run, but Grosseto finds himself with his nose down the inside. Back into the slipstream they go. This is working wonders for this racecraft here. You can see the drivers that are just all out attacking, and you can see the drivers that are thinking every single corner through in a very self-preservative manner. Grosseto, he's just all out attack. He always is. He's giving it everything right up behind David Whitehouse, but right at the front, there could be a last lap battle on the cards here. I don't think Thiago Marteau wants to let Fraser get away with this.
No, I mean, you always want to keep up a bit of a win streak, don't you? 2 last week. Can he make it 3 on the bounce this week? I think that's what he's going to be looking for as he works his way through the final corner. They will see the white flag waving. There it is, Barney up in the booth. Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, he's going to have a slowdown. That's going to let Matt Hoyland through towards turn number 1, and there's that move taking place. But Marteau, as close as he can really be, he's only a tenth and a half behind. He's going to be looking for the move at turn 3.
He absolutely is. Side by side, then up towards 3. I mistakenly called it turn 2 earlier because I don't count that as a corner that they're going through right now. But yeah, Dara's the one with the knowledge, not me. Side by side they go, but look at Thiago Marteau's run on the exit. Oh, Fraser, I don't think ran him completely out of room there, but he ran a little bit wide on the exit. We'll go back on board with the Kalita Motorsport machine. Just close your eyes a little bit because it's a bit bright. Side by side with Fraser. Can he get enough of a run around the outside here to take the lead of the race? We know that Keogh's got the capability to do so. Fraser's going to run him tight to that line. It's wheel-to-wheel stuff. Just a few corners left to go in this race, and it's an absolute thriller. Fraser is making sure that Thiago stays to the inside, but Fraser's deep. He's gone wide through the left-hander. Is he going to be able to carry enough speed around the outside? I think he is. Marteau sticks to the apex once again, and he's got it. Can Fraser get enough of a run to the final corner now, Dara? He's got a good one.
He's got to well, if he wants to send it, he has to do it into towards turn number 9. He doesn't need to. We've said his championship permutations don't require him to make this move. Look at the inside line from Marteau. That's so tight. And they're both going to go wide and off the road. Smith not going to be able to make the move. It looks like Marteau's hanging on.
Marteau takes the win in the sprint race at the Red Bull Ring. What a scrap between those pair. That was epic. Zemstra next up. Hoyland finishes in fourth place, ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick. And then it's going to be Jack Reeve, Jack Werrell and Lee Aberdeen. But what about this lot? This rabble in the background. Alex Fretwell is looking like he's going to take 9th position. Grosseto takes 11th. David Whitehouse is going to get another pole position. Shalcraft, Tustin, Clark all just behind.
goodness me. That was lively. And breathed. Thiago Marteau, what a win. He stayed behind Fraser right until the end and then made the move when he had to. But that last lap between those pair, that was out and out beautiful racing.
And that's only a quarter of the race we get tonight, isn't it? So there's a lot more still to come. I mean, crazy fight through the field. Aberdeen getting to the top 10.
Yeah.
For him, he only has 2 cars to overtake to get to the front. If he has any championship aspirations, because you never know what could happen to Fraser Smith starting P9, but he's scored some good points in this sprint. Marteau, of course, perfect, as he has been in the last 3 weeks. And that race was so crazy that Thiago Marteau was the only driver to finish in the place that he started. If Fraser Smith had won the race, they would have changed position.
Yeah, absolutely. A non-finish, unfortunately, from Martin Kenyon, but he's messaged me to say that his dad's in hospital at the minute, and he called him during the race. So yeah, hope all is well, Martin, and obviously hope things get better, and everyone from the championship, send our best. Let's have a look at some results then, shall we, from the first race of the night. Thiago Marteau takes his 3rd win on the bounce, with Fraser Smith in 2nd place. He'll be really pleased to see those 12 points. He needed to do that in the sprint race tonight to make sure that he at least got some points over Aaron. He now has the championship lead by just a couple of points, so everything he gains now will be pure advantage. Kevin Zemstra, a great 3rd place for him, ahead of Matt Hoyland and Sam Fitzpatrick. Sam will be gutted about that slowdown penalty, but still he had a good fight with Matt all the same. If your name was Jack, you were quite lonely in that race. Reeve and Werrell in no man's land in 6th and 7th. Lee Aberdeen, great drive through the order from 16th on the grid in that one. Alex Fretwell 9th, and he'll start alongside David Whitehouse on the front row. Fabio Grassetto just misses out. So too does Ben Chalcraft, John Tusting and Stuart Clark. They're all within a shout at some point. Philip Miles in his home race finishes in 15th in the sprint. Will hopefully get some points in the feature. He finished ahead of Danny Weir and Simon Price, with Connor Hatfield having that spin in the later stages. Michael Jones, the final car to finish, and aforementioned Martin Kenyon not completing the race. We do have provisional championship points, which will show you just how it looks after that sprint. If you bear with me, I will grab them for you now. And with drop scores, that's how it should look. And the only position change is a very important one, isn't it, Dara?
It is, and it's the only one that really matters, isn't it? Obviously, every position matters for every driver, but overall, that's the one that's going to make the big difference. It's 10 points for now. We'll see where it can go. Lee Aberdeen's going to be, I think, really focusing on himself getting ahead of Aaron Smith, even if it's just in a battle for P2 come next week. Yeah. I think that is his target, to get over that 161 points threshold, and he's in a good place to do so from P3 at the start of this race. Watch where Marteau can go, though. Of course, he looks like he could be on in for another very good result. He could maybe try and walk past Hoyland, maybe Zemstra as well, in terms of that points tally. He'll probably be targeting P4, P5 in the championship come the end of next week.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. And yeah, the feature race is just around the corner, everybody, so please do not go anywhere. Dara and I are just going to take a quick 5-minute break while the warm-up session is on. And, well, I think we need to have a breather after that anyway. But we'll be back in a sec for the feature race here in the Formula CDM European Series. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Dara Thacker here in the commentary box for the Formula CDM European Series from the Red Bull Ring. We're here for the 7th round of this 8-round championship. And Dara, we just had one of the absolute races of the season, and that was only the sprint, only 15 minutes.
We have 40 more to look forward to, don't we? I mean, you'd expect drivers to maybe be a little bit more cautious, but then again, you'd maybe think that drivers would be trying to preserve their top 10s in the opening race, and that didn't really seem to be the case. So, yeah, this could go any which way, to be honest with you, and particularly with some of the faster drivers starting right in the mid-pack. It's going to be a really quite exciting start, I think, and the first couple of laps could be really, really key.
Yeah, definitely. I think the grid positions will certainly be one for the drivers to keep an eye on. I think Lee Aberdeen will be, well, as determined and focused as that just all-black helmet looks, to be fair, going into this round of the championship, because now he's not too far away from Aaron Smith, who isn't here this evening. He and Fraser have both had their individual drop scores this season. Fraser wasn't here for the Hungaroring. Aaron is actually away at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. He manages racing simulators for Formula 1 teams, and he's away at the Las Vegas Grand Prix doing that at the moment, so I'm sure I know where I'd rather be. But yeah, he's currently obviously not here to defend his championship lead, so that puts all eyes on this man's teammate, and Fraser now needs to try and take every little point he can from this feature, but we know Fraser, and we know that he never likes to back down no matter what.
Yeah, and that, I'm sure it's going to be the case here. And particularly in a circuit like this, you never really feel like you're at it. I mean, Grassetto in that opening race is a good example. He spun, styled it out in typical Italian fashion, and then was able to get back into that train for what could have been P10. Just about missed out on it, but you know, it just shows that with the battling that we're going to see, with the side-by-side action that you can create, you're never really out of it unless you really have binned it and had to turn back to the pit lane. So always a chance, and this is going to be a great race, I'm sure.
It certainly will be, and obviously there's the pit strategy to think about as well. The drivers can come into the pits anytime after lap 8, unless they are forced into the pit lane by what we call a meatball flag, black and orange flag, meaning that the car is too damaged to continue on in the race. So drivers are then asked to obviously come in and get the car repaired before they're allowed to continue. We'll have a look at the grid, as the drivers will, I'm sure, very quickly get onto it. They usually do after the longer wait for this feature race. It's David Whitehouse on pole position with Alex Fretwell alongside him. Lee Aberdeen lines up in 3rd place. Certainly a great place to be, with Jack Werrell alongside him. Jack Reeve and Sam Fitzpatrick make up row 3. Then it's Matt Hoyland alongside Kevin Zemstra. Fraser Smith and Keo Tiago Marteau make up row 5. Then it's Fabio Grassetto alongside Ben Chalcraft. John Tusting and Stuart Clark are on the 7th row. Philip Miles is alongside Danny Weir. Simon Price and Connor Hatfield make up row 9. Then it's Michael Jones and Martin Kenyon will be back with us for this race. Well, they're just about ready on the grid already here, Dara, so any quick predictions before we get underway?
Oh, goodness me. I think looking at it, we've got to go for Lee Aberdeen. That's what I'm going to go for.
Well, we shall see. Keo Tiago Marteau just last week became the first driver ever in the Formula CDM umbrella of series to win both races in one night. Can he do it again from 10th? We'll have to wait and see. But on pole position, it's David Whitehouse. And the feature race in round number 7 of the Formula CDM European Series gets underway. Nightmare start for Kevin Zemstra. He drops way down, and Jack Reeve gets a much better start than Lee Aberdeen. I don't know where he expected Jack Werrell to go, but he goes all the way one way, then the other, round the outside, nearly makes it work. Everybody else filters their way through the first corner. Keo Tiago Marteau's actually lost another place. Fraser Smith going through there as well. Hoyland trying it on Reeve as they head up towards turn number 3.
Yeah, really important braking zone, as we know, up into turn number 3, particularly in the opening lap. Who's going to get the best run? Looks like there's nearly a sub at the moment. It is Aberdeen going to get through. Oh, there is contact. It looked like Aberdeen got tagged a little bit, may have done so. That sent David Whitehouse around, and he nearly crashes, trying to spin it back around. But it's meant that Alex Fretwell is more than... He's got a second and a half up towards turn 4. Ahead of anybody else. Reeve, Hoyland, Fitzpatrick coming through as well. Marteau already into the top 5 as he passes Jack Werrell.
Yeah, Lee Aberdeen's got wing damage. Lee was involved in that one. Ben Chalcraft again has a meatball flag. Ben is one of the most unlucky drivers in lap 1 that I've ever seen. I think Lee's still got a car to his left-hand side there. Jack Werrell in the mix, but he's got understeer issues. You can see the car not behaving itself. Hoyland and Fitzpatrick have re-kicked off their fight that they had in race 1. And look who's managed to make it up into 5th place for all of that. Keo Tiago Marteau holding on. Now, is Lee going to duck into the pits early here? Because if he pits early, he won't have enough fuel to get all the way to the end. Oh, Keo really close to Sam. Lee is going to carry on, but unfortunately, Ben Chalcraft having to come into the pits. Oh, he's not able to make it into the pits that time round because Connor Hatfield is down his inside. That's nightmarish.
Yep, and that black and orange flag is going to still be hanging over his head for yet another lap. There goes Alex Fretwell at the front, 31.3. His opening lap, he's a second and a half clear of anybody, and Hoyland is going to be going after Reeve up towards turn number 3 as Marteau's going to go after Sam Fitzpatrick. Here comes Hoyland for P2. Loss of slipstream for Jack Reeve means that Hoyland has a great chance inside line for the Wave Racing Tech driver, as it is for Sam Fitzpatrick against Marteau. Grosseto gets tonight from the inside as well. Aggressive move executed very well indeed. But it seems that they've all stayed in exactly the same positions as the end of the corner, if you can believe that. Second, third, fourth and fifth though, less than a half second between them.
I want to see what happened to Whitehouse as Marteau and Fitzpatrick go side by side. Around the outside goes the Dutchman, but again, not able to get the run. It looked like he had the run initially off the corner, but no, didn't quite work out. Hoyland and Reeve were side by side, but sorry, we're coming away from that. Hoyland got past Jack Reeve, or did he? Ooh, he went one way then the other, and then, oh, Lee and Whitehouse just, well, they sort of just turned into each other, I think. I don't know if that was... I'll have another look here from Lee Aberdeen. I don't know if Lee just expected that David wasn't there or something, but... There's, oh, they tangled really nastily there, but I think we'll have to have a look at it from an outside perspective here. But Lee Aberdeen, certainly it looked like he just didn't leave the room to me, Dara, but we'll be proven wrong.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like he comes across a bit, and then there's just a tangle of wheels, and that's what sends Whitehouse around. Difficult to really judge from there, isn't it? From that off-board shot, but either way, it's not a good position to be in. Marteau is looking to be on the outside line up towards turn 3. Jack Reeve in the middle, inside line is Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, this can only end badly, surely. Is there contact? No, there isn't. Good racing from all of them. Lee Aberdeen just in the background here in P6, trying to make his way through as Marteau goes left, goes right, trying to pick a car to be behind, trying to go through the middle momentarily, careful through there. But it's now Fitzpatrick going for P3. Reeve under attack once again. Aberdeen attacking. Oh, race winner. Hello. There's Fraser Smith up the inside, his teammate.
Wow, well, we said last time out there was no team orders between the Blade Speed Esports cars, but flipping heck. There was opportunistic enough from Lee Aberdeen, but Fraser just appeared down the inside and made the move. Incredible stuff. Lee will not be chuffed with that one, but yeah, he's having to try and recuperate here and deal with this wing damage as long as he can before he comes into the pits. Hoyland is going to be quite happy. He's up into second position, and Hoyland's got good pace here. He's definitely got the ability to go after Fretwell, but how quickly can he do that while trying to stay ahead of the likes of Sam Fitzpatrick, Jack Reeve, Keo, Tiago Marteau and Fraser Smith? Here comes the Dutchman now. Kevin Zemstra has lost 3 places from where he started. I think he had to take quite a lot of avoiding action in all of the turn 3 drama. He's actually just on the fastest lap of the race though as Zemstra. He's just he's just actually locked up on the way to turn 1 as well. Whoa, car off, that's Fraser Smith. What was that about?
See that one again. Yeah, we'll have to see that again. I mean, they're 3 wide in front, nearly 4 wide. That could go some way to explaining if Reeve has an issue. That is not a pretty sight for Jack Reeve. That is crabbing like there is no tomorrow. There goes Lee Aberdeen through. Fraser Smith through. Clark and Miles and Zemstra will almost certainly come through as well. I mean, look at the angle. That is a horrific way to have to drive the car. He's going to try and get that home to the pit lane, but either way it's going to be very difficult to see him get to the end of the race inside, well, at the very least the top 10. Through comes Clark, now through comes Miles, Tusting as well, and with all the battling that we're seeing, the top 14 is starting by 7 seconds at the moment.
Mental, isn't it? I think Connor Hatfield's just going to clip the edge of the circuit there. That counts as him going off the track apparently, but he got away with all of that. This is what happened with Fraser Smith then further up the order. So this is where it all kicked off. Keo Tiago Marteau goes down the inside. We've got a battle on for the lead, by the way. Hoyland and Fretwell. We'll come back to that in a moment. Fraser Smith following Keo Tiago Marteau and Jack Reeve. Fraser gets a great run on the exit. And then, whoa, Keo's out of shape. And then, yeah, Fraser tries to get out of it. And he's only kissed the back of Jack Reeve's car there. But again, the suspension in these things is just made of paper.
Yeah, it snaps so easily. And that's why you've got to be oh so careful going side by side. Grosseto fastest lap, by the way. He's 5th now.
He's 4th.
Make that 4th as he gets past Marteau. You cannot speak too soon in this race because it's going to change once, twice, three times. Now there's a change to the lead. Hoyland's going to go to the outside line, on Alex Fretwell, who tries to hold it on the inside. Keep an eye out for Fitzpatrick, though. He's going to be the one with the slipstream. Behind Grosseto goes side by side with Marteau. And then I think further back there, maybe side by side between the two teammates of Smith and Aberdeen. It's just all kicking off. We nearly saw those two spearing into the barrier.
Don't need to do it. I never understand why they do it. I really don't. It's my main pet hate in any form of motorsport. Is why do you need to squeeze people in a straight line? What is the point? You expect to go over there. Why do you need to stay over to the right hand side? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. But Grosseto is one of those drivers that he does like to push his luck a little bit. Fitzpatrick wants this past Fretwell now, but Hoyland is the one that leads the way. These three all glued to each other. Grosseto has gained 7 places after starting 11th on the grid. He's having an absolute demon drive. Kenyon's going well as well, down in 14th, but he's gained 6 places from where he started. But I tell you, Dara, if last week wasn't quite the introduction to the Formula CDM European Series, welcome, sir.
Yeah, well, it's good to I'm sitting down, frankly, because I think if I was standing up, I'd be all over the shop, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's still... I mean, we're still in the first quarter of the race, mind you. It's not even been 8 minutes. From lap 6, we're going to get at least 30. Well, I'd say that, probably more like 25. It's crazy how much racing that we're seeing. And Fitzpatrick now gets the inside line on Fretwell, who was leading so valiantly, but he has been reeled in. And now he's won 2 cars through on him. Inside line, maybe. Let's see if Fretwell can make this move. He's got the Sebastian Vettel helmet on. Let's see if he can make some Sebastian Vettel style moves. Is he going to get it stopped? So much room given by Sam Fitzpatrick. Almost an offensive amount of room that Sam Fitzpatrick has left Alex Fretwell there. But he has kept the position and left the inside line for 6.
Oh, he was really like, yeah, well, come in, why don't you? Come in. And then just to say, nah, my position. Zemstra does have a bit of nose damage on the car. You can see that it's not quite behaving itself. He's unfortunately a bit further down than he wants to be. Stuart Clark getting past Lee Aberdeen there, who is clearly also struggling with front wing damage from the earlier incident. Massive shame to see that, because this was Lee Aberdeen's chance to really throw himself into the top 3 positions in the championship. You've got to feel sorry for David Whitehouse as well, starting on pole position in this race, down in 15th now, just clinging on to a point scoring position. Personal best for Sam Fitzpatrick, and all of a sudden this 3-car battle for the lead has become 5.
Yep, Marteau's at the back of it. That will surprise absolutely nobody. That he's still in the fight for the lead. He's got the fastest lap last time by as well. Don't count Werrell Smith as well. Top 7, 2.8 seconds, ridiculously close at this stage of the race. Marteau, is there an outside line to be exploited? Well, he's thinking about it. Not quite on Grosseto, as he will cover that off on the exit. But these 3 running very, very close together, dragging along Werrell and Smith into the fray as well. Ooh, there's Danny Weir, the teammate to Alex Fretwell. He tried to cut off the move, and in actual fact, he's just let both of them through. Zemstra, very opportunistic, and he's got 2 of them off the exit. Oh, hello, 2 of them off the exit as well from Marteau.
Oh, Fretwell and Grosseto have had a drama. Werrell, I tell you, he's subtle for a 9-foot bloke, isn't he, Jack Werrell? He's just about managed to cling through. Weir and Zemstra and Weir and Zemstra and Kenyon have now had drama. What the bloody hell are they doing? Let's have a look here. Keo Thiago Marteau, everybody. Let's see what he did. And then we'll very quickly go back to whatever Danny Weir and Kevin Zemstra did. Grosseto down the inside of Fretwell. That's way too hot, son. Way too hot. And again, Grosseto attracts attention that he probably doesn't want. He's so fast that he could have good results, but he just makes a bit of a mess. And now, Kenyon turning across Zemstra, and Danny Weir says, cheers, boys. God.
Delightful, that, isn't it? When it opens up like that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's now back into 12th. There's a big gap to John Tusting, but I think that's really where he'll be fighting at the moment. He could set his fastest lap of the race in all of that fighting. Fitzpatrick losing out to Matt Hoyland as we go up towards turn number 3. This is for the lead of the race, mind you. Look at all these cars. We're 10 minutes in. Marteau's on the back. Grosseto's on the back. 4 cars, about 0.6 of a second, if that. Hoyland has the lead. Fitzpatrick doesn't have the best of exits. Is he going to be able to come back at him? You bet he will. Inside line for him. Marteau's going to go to the outside line. Will lightning strike twice?
Oh, he's going to try and get the cutback, but he's got to be careful of Grosseto because he's down the inside. Grosseto understeer. Side by side for the race lead between Hoyland and Fitzpatrick. Sam's on the inside line for the next 2 corners, but is Hoyland going to be able to carry enough speed around the outside? I mean,
based on that shot, you'd say yes, because he had a really good run around there. Fitzpatrick doing the right thing, though, keeping it nice and tidy on the inside. And look at that by Matt Hoyland. Lovely bit of driving. Round the outside, holds the lead. Marteau can't quite get the overlap on Fitzpatrick. Grassetto wants a piece of this. Fraser Smith can see this all going on over the horizon. It's the end of lap 8. I would not be surprised if Fraser Smith or somebody behind comes into the pits here, you know. But no, they haven't thought about that just yet, as Fitzpatrick and Marteau are almost banging wheels out of the final corner and across the line. Grassetto's got nowhere to go.
It's funny that you mentioned the pit lane, because I was about to say they've got a pit as well in this race at some point. They're probably going to forget about that until they quite literally run out of fuel. Fitzpatrick, Grassetto, that's a great side-by-side racing through one. Fitzpatrick has just about got an overlap, but it means that he won't get any of the slipstream directly off the back of Grassetto, which is going to give a good run to Werrell and to Smith as well as we go up towards turn number 3. It's Smith on the inside, Werrell on the outside, 6 cars. 1.3 seconds at the moment at the front of the field, still side by side. It's Fitzpatrick. He has the inside down on Grassetto. That hasn't stopped him before, though. Let's see how it goes at turn 4.
Welcome to the Formula CDM European Series, everybody. Kevin Zemstra has pitted, by the way. He's got that out of the way nice and early. I think he had damage on the car, so he's wanted to get that fixed at his first opportunity. He didn't have a meatball flag, so he wasn't really fully entitled to come in before the pit window after lap 8. And right now, he is going to have a fixed car, and he's definitely one to watch. That's Kevin Zemstra, currently running in 19th place, but remember I've said that because he won't be there by the end. Fraser Smith down the inside of Sam Fitzpatrick. Sam carries the speed around the outside. Just behind them, though, still Werrell as well, and Alex Fretwell. Remember him? He was leading the race earlier on, but he got shoveled out of the way, and now he's back in the fight. Hoyland still leading this from Thiago Marteau. He'll be terrified, will Hoyland. He won't tell you that, but he will be. He's got his teammate in 3rd place as well. Hopefully, well, he'll be hoping that his teammate's not on his way to come and take him out like he did at the Hungaroring just a week ago after that contact. Lee Aberdeen finally sees opportunity. He's come into the pits. God, this is nuts.
I'm going to need to lie down after this. I've still got 27 minutes to go. I can already tell you that for free. Hoyland is going to be under attack again. This time Marteau, who is somehow, in all of this, the driver to be fighting for the lead. What a run out of turn 1. He's got the inside line for turn 3. This should be signed, sealed and delivered, but we've seen the outside line work very well, and once again Hoyland's going to be able to stick with it and be side by side down in towards turn 4. This is just going to get into Grassetto, who will, we know, pick up the pieces if anything goes awry at the front of the field. Hoyland, a little bit of a better run towards turn number 4. Can he hook it around the outside line? He's keeping as tight a line as he can, knowing exactly where Marteau is going to be, but just a little bit wide on the exit. And the man who's won 3 races in a row, trying to make it 4, has the lead now and has it clearly. Let's see if he can pull away from the rest of the rabble.
Oh, there's a meatball flag for Danny Weir further down. He was off the road, and I'm not sure if he's had contact with another car. He's been overtaken by Martin Kenyon and David Whitehouse in the last few moments. We'll have a look back at that in a minute. Just intrigued to see if anybody from this top 5 comes into the pits. I expect the likes of Fraser Smith, Jack Werrell might do. I think that's an indicator from Sam Fitzpatrick. They said in the driver's briefing if they're going to slow down in the penultimate corner and pit, they're going to leave a signal, and that's exactly what Sam Fitzpatrick has done. He says, right, stuff this noise. I am not staying in that fight. Into the pit lane he goes, onto the brakes and onto the pit limiter. Lovely stuff. Let's have a look at Danny Weir.
Here we go then. What's happened to Danny up at turn number 3 in that number 55 car? He's locked up, gone deep.
Oh.
And then he's, well, I don't think he meant to brake check the car behind, but
No.
what it looked like in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, he just went to slam on just to save the car from a further spin, but unfortunately Martin, not enough time to react there. Martin also had damage. He's been in the pits. Danny Weir, he's been in the pits and back out the pits, I think. He's stopped twice and has had to get the fast repair the second time. This is the battle for the lead still. Thiago Marteau leads the 2 Wave Racing Tech cars of Hoyland and Grassetto. Last time they were both in the top 3, they had a big crash. And I know that Hoyland's going to be, well, I hope he's not listening. I know some of the drivers listen to the commentary while we're commentating on them. Hi, Mr. Fretwell, hope you're doing well. But right now, Grassetto will be, I imagine, playing back that scenario at the Hungaroring in his head and hoping he doesn't repeat it.
Probably hoping that he won't repeat it, but you never do know, and you can never feel too safe, can you?
No.
From the evidence that we've seen, let's see if he can maybe get a good run out of the final corner. They all drift wide, but they know exactly where the limit is. It's not the white line and it's not the curb, but it's somewhere out there.
Yeah.
But at least they know where it is because they're not picking up slowdowns because of it. Fastest lap of the race from Fraser Smith, and Wouldn't you believe it? We're about to have another 4-car battle for the lead with 4 cars within a second. And he even went 4/10 quicker than Marteau on that lap. So
Wow.
he really is turning up the screws. Stuart Clark almost with a forgotten man in all of this, because him and Philip Miles have just been quietly going about their race. And they're having great races in the top 10.
Yeah, 7 places gained each for these guys. Connor Hatfield also in the Spontex CDM Esports car. He's gained 7 positions so far in this race. Just did his personal best on that last lap as well. So there's a lot to look at here in this race, here at the Red Bull Ring. It's certainly been exciting so far. An absolute riot of a race. As down the inside, Hoyland has a look at Thiago Marteau. And actually, you know what? He sent him for a hot dog or a schnitzel. He sent him wide. Hoyland down the inside. Gets the move done on Thiago Marteau. Doesn't really happen that often, does it? He's been out-phased. Wow. Can't believe that. Hoyland will be laughing too much to now get the rest of the lap right, as Grosseto, wonderful cutback down the inside on the exit of 6. Makes sure that he doesn't run wide on the exit. And Marteau, well, the Wave Racing Tech cars are waving goodbye to him.
I'll give you a slow clap for that one in a minute. Blade speeds Fraser Smith right behind into the penultimate corner.
Kio's gonna
outside
pit.
line, Marteau on the inside line. Oh, Marteau's into, yeah, there you go. You called it.
Yeah.
Made sense from where he was in that position. But where's this going to put him out by the time everybody else comes into the pit lane? We've not yet reached half race distance, but that won't, worry him, because he will just fill up the tank. He will have a bit of a heavier car in the next couple of laps while these guys don't pit, but he also won't be fighting with too many other cars. So whichever almost strategy works out best, we're going to see in the next 5 minutes, I think.
Wave Racing Tech will be loving this opportunity here, because their main rivals in the Teams Championship are DNA Motorsport, Stuart Clark and Aaron Smith, one of which is not here tonight. They currently lead this race 1-2, and they have an opportunity, I'm sure, to get both cars finishing in the top 5 places. So certainly could be an exciting one. There's been a position change here between Fretwell and Werrell. That's going to become a bit of a mouthful if we say it too quickly over the course of the race. But these pair both having a really good ding-dong in these wonderful matte machines. The Derrington Francis car chasing down EMKA Racing. Stuart Clark and Philip Miles at his home race, let's not forget. He's going to be hoping for some points here tonight. The two of them very close together. No, you're all good, mate. All good. There's so much to look at.
Too much to look at, really, at this stage. And there's only 20 cars on the circuit. You'd expect this kind of action from like a 50-car race.
Yeah.
But there's only 20 cars on the circuit. Hoyland and Grosseto, they're not going to be side by side towards the final corner, but they are both pitting. I think Grosseto wasn't going to pit and then got caught there. You could almost see the checkup, and then he went back into the pit lane. So I don't know, maybe that was tactical in the moment from Grosseto, but him and Hoyland have come in together. Let's look at it again from Fraser Smith's point of view.
So that's the indicator from Grosseto they spoke about in the driver's briefing to say, I'm pitting. He expected to carry a bit more speed than Matt, and then Matt caught him out by braking. Matt tried to smooth it out. He didn't give the indication. So the communication wasn't there, as we've now got another battle between Werrell and Fretwell. But yeah, that was scary from the two teammates. Grosseto, he's been speeding in the pit lane. Hoyland's back out already. Back out and fighting with David Whitehouse, who hasn't pitted yet, so that's not ideal for Hoyland. Oh, he won't want to fight with him, because look who's in the background. It's Thiago Marteau. He'll be saying, for God's sake, David, move. He'll be screaming at him. You can see the steam coming out of his helmet. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to be raging. Hoyland is, well, he was in the pits for about 1.6 seconds less than Marteau, which doesn't sound like a lot. But when the pit stop is only 7 seconds for the latter, that's a big old difference, that, for Matt Hoyland, putting himself in a really good opportune space here. But there's still 19 and a half minutes of the race left to go here, Dara.
Yeah, and when they're lapping up, a minute and a half, that's going to be, 6 laps every 9 minutes. We're looking at another, 12, 13? Well, we're on lap 14. I'll probably just use that as a reference. Couldn't I, really? But yeah, we're looking at another 13, 14 laps of this race to go. Fretwell in, Werrell in, Clark, Miles, Tusting, they're all coming in now. Fraser Smith has carried on at the front of the field. Of course, the driver who provisionally leads the championship coming now into this particular race. He's going as long as he possibly can in that car, and, why not? Hoyland's going to be a long, long way behind him. He's got clean air. He's able to push on. This is probably a good idea, I think, from Fraser Smith.
Yeah, it's interesting because the total pit lane time is 35 seconds, but obviously you're still moving for a lot of the pit lane, so you don't exactly lose 35 seconds. You're not perfectly stationary for all of that. So I think the loss has been about 20 seconds or so. So it's going to be close for Fraser Smith. But Thiago Marteau will be putting in every single lap that he can now to get back with Hoyland. Sam Fitzpatrick is on a push. Fitzpatrick and Marteau have taken tyres. That's the difference here. So has Lee Aberdeen and everybody else behind Lee except for Whitehouse. The only other drivers in the top 10 that haven't taken tyres are Fretwell and Werrell, actually, just behind Sam Fitzpatrick here. So there's a number of drivers. I'll tell you what, if I put in... Can I get the pit time? Yeah, only one that's in the 5s has not taken tyres. I don't think Stuart Clark has either. Anyone in the 7s has taken tyres. And it shows you Fabio Grassetto unfortunately out. Philip Miles having a spin at his home race. Oh, Philip having a spin down at turn 4 as Fraser Smith in the pits.
Yeah, and he will come in 20 seconds out in front of anybody else, but where will he come out? That's the real question. I think probably around that Sam Fitzpatrick. Well, that was a quick stop. Probably around Sam Fitzpatrick, but maybe not, because Hoyland is coming down towards turn 1, and you can see, can you, Fraser Smith on the other side of the barrier? Not quite, but Hoyland is going to come around turn number 1. Where is Fraser Smith? There he is, right in front of us, and he has come out in the lead of the race. It's now his to lose.
It absolutely is. Still 17 and a half minutes, more than a sprint race distance left to go here at the Red Bull Ring in the Formula CDM European Series. At the end of the day, Fraser could even finish third in this race with Hoyland and Marteau, and even maybe Fitzpatrick eventually going past him, and he will still get 21 championship points that Aaron Smith is not scoring here at the moment. So we'll have to see. I think Grassetto has indeed, as it's been pointed out in the chat, rage quit, unfortunately. Fabio very, very disappointed in that. And like I said, it was an opportunity for Wave Racing Tech to score some big championship points for the team. And that's not going to happen. I mean, Hoyland's still on for a good result, but Grassetto would have wanted those points badly.
Yeah, and it's going to be disappointing for him to miss out yet again in terms of that points tally. He will only have next week to really add to his number already, but there will have been so many that he's left on the table. Wheeler went a bit wide there. That wasn't the best line. It's going to allow Marteau a bit more of a chance. A bit of a look at P2, but these three really have separated themselves away at the front after all of the battling that we saw. Fizzled out a bit, which is disappointing in a way, isn't it?
Unfortunately for Grassetto, that means, aside from the drivers that didn't start races, he's got the most DNFs this season with 5, and that's 5 DNFs in 7 races for Fabio Grassetto. So second half of the season, it's safe to say, not been going his way. The first meeting didn't go too well either, 17th and an 11th, but then he had a 6th, 8th, 3rd, 7th, 9th. He's had a 5th place since as well, and he didn't have too bad a first race. He just missed out on the top 10 though in the sprint race here tonight, but yeah, that's his 5th retirement in 7 races. The 2 Mirage Sport cars are together with Jack Reeves' cross-development machine. I do love this Mirage car. I know I painted all these things, but I do love the livery on that car. We look here at Kevin Zemstra, hoping to regain some ground. He's got his teammate John Tusting just ahead of him. The two of them were working together quite well at the beginning of the season. John said that he learned quite a bit from Kevin, and he was a lovely teammate to have. Seems like right now he's hoping that, Kevin will be hoping that John understands that and lets him through or something. I'm not quite sure. Still, they are right together in a lovely looking pairing. Here's Fretwell and Werrell. Speaking of a lovely looking pairing, they are still right together and have been for a lot of the races. Oh, well, as soon as we say that, Marteau gets ahead of Hoyland. I think, let's see whether Matt did this strategically here to sit behind him and not fight too much, because Hoyland will know that Fitzpatrick wants a bit of this. Don't think he had a slowdown or anything, did he? No, Hoyland just doesn't make it too difficult. Yeah, you can hear him lift. That's strategic, that. Fair play.
Yeah, because you don't really want to be fighting side by side into turn 9, especially when you've got Fraser Smith 2 seconds up the road. You just can't afford to be losing any more time. You already have 14 and a half minutes to go. You're looking at about another, 7, 8 laps. I think maybe 9 of this race to go. So you're not really wanting to fight too hard. And once you can see the writing on the wall, smart of Hoyland to just back out of it. He knows he can just slip in the slipstream. And that Keogh is probably the faster driver at the moment. So they can drag him up to that battle for the lead, in which anything can happen. This is Kevin Zemstra. Had a good qualifying. It's not necessarily been the easiest race number 2 for him, but he's going to get past his teammate, I believe, with relative ease, as you'd expect.
Yeah, lovely stuff that from John. Like I said before, sort of returning the favour a little bit there for Kevin Zemstra. And Kevin now moves up into the top 10. John still in a point-scoring position. Philip Miles and his teammate Ben Chalcraft both in point-scoring positions. But Ben, like I say, possibly one of the most unlucky drivers in the series, if not the most unlucky driver in the series. Still finds himself 10th in the championship. He had his best result of the season back at Manicourt in the sprint race, finishing in 4th position. He had a 5th place in the feature at the Hungaroring after the penalties, which I'm sure he'll be over the moon about. Simon Price also had a long pit stop earlier on. He's now got a slowdown penalty in the later part of the lap, so Simon having a bit of a day to forget, I'm afraid. But I'm sure he'll be applying his usual dry humour to the situation, as he so often does. What about this man, though, Dara? Fraser Smith. Well, Hoyland's just on his personal best, by the way, but Fraser Smith currently managing this situation beautifully. Just 1/10 of a second slower than Marteau in that previous lap. Be good if I put my teeth in. But in fairness, we saw that he had the pace to fight with Marteau hand to hand in that first one, so yeah.
He did, but also he had that slipstream that helped carry him along. Not to take away from that race one, of course, but it does mean that he gained the extra few tenths a lap almost by default. Marteau here, with that, even if it's just a tenth, that little incremental gain, if he can make that 2 tenths a lap, all of a sudden we have a race in our hands with 3 drivers right at the end. And like we said, Fraser Smith nearly outraced Marteau at the end of the opening exchange of the evening, but we'll see. We'll see if Marteau can almost put himself into a position to kind of reverse the roles of what we saw for the majority of race number 1. Hoyland is there, and he will be there clearly on the back of Marteau. He's only 3.5, 4 tenths back at the moment, and doesn't look like dropping at this stage. If he doesn't pick up a slowdown, he will almost certainly be carried along to what could be a battle for the race lead. Marteau not really gaining too much this lap, though. Through the final corner they go. That gap 1.8 as they enter the corner, and it will be about the same as the exit. Yeah, another tenth or so of a gain. Needs to be just a little bit more than that, but it is definitely on.
Once he gets to within about 1.3, I'd say he's going to start getting some real slipstream from that car in front, and that's what Fraser's going to be watching in the latest stage of this race, but more so because Keogh was in the pits for about 1.9 seconds longer, and that's because these tyres on this car are a lot fresher than Fraser's machine. He's currently been on these tyres for just 8 laps. Fraser has been on them for all 20, so Keogh is going to have a slightly natural advantage in the later moments of this race, and this car is going to be going quicker and quicker when the difference between those tyres really becomes apparent. Fretwell and Werrell, I say this quite a bit when drivers are like this, but they're going to be looking at wedding venues soon, these pair. They are absolutely joined at the hip. They're having a great scrap, though, and at the end of the day, they're in a bit of no man's land, and this is sort of what you want, isn't it? If you've got a driver around you that isn't necessarily holding you up, a driver that's on a similar level of pace, you've got nearly 4 seconds to the car ahead of you, 7 seconds to the car behind. It's a great place to be.
Fantastic spot to be. A little boring, I guess, but
yeah.
If you're in a good spot on your own, it's not that bad, is it? You'd rather be having a boring race inside the top 5 than you would be in 18th, right? Oh, Hoyland, what did I say?
Yeah.
If he doesn't pick up a slowdown, he'll be fine. What does he do? 90 seconds later, picks up a slowdown. He'll serve it through turn 1, I think, but that's not ideal for him. Marteau gained 3 tenths that lap. If anything, maybe a bit of a mistake from Smith. But Hoyland, maybe feeling the pressure that he has to keep up with Marteau and that wick has been turned up a bit. Now going to lose out some time. He drops to now over half a second behind Marteau in a dangerous level of lack of, well, it's now a second lack of slipstream. Werrell on the back of Fretwell, move? No, he'll stay behind for the time being.
Yeah, this is just one 8-wheeled PM, well, I was going to say PM18, it's a PM36 now, isn't it, really, this car? It's just one. And I think Werrell there, he was proving more of a point by not moving than he would have proven by moving, if that makes sense. He was staying right in the wheel tracks of Alex Fretwell, and he was showing him, look, I'm not trying to overtake you. I don't want to attack. I'm happy to sit here. Werrell missed the first round of the championship and had a very scarring couple of rounds when he did join in, and now, he ended up on his roll hoop at Manicourt, bless him, after a completely innocent incident happened behind him. But now he's just wanting to score those points, and this is the time to do it in the feature, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. And this is the kind of time in the race to start making your moves, right? Because you've got 10 minutes to go, albeit there aren't really many trains that you can try and work your way through. You've got a couple of trios, like this one down here with Miles Chalcraft and Danny Weir, all having very different races, but somehow all finding themselves in the same part of the racetrack.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can start to make a couple of positions now, it's just that confidence boost, I think, that you can always carry over into next week. That could be important. We're on the back of Fred. Well, that's 2/10. The gap between Marteau and Hoyland after that slowdown has ballooned. It's 2.4 seconds now.
Yeah.
There must be another mistake from Matt Hoyland, because that wasn't just the slowdown penalty. He's now only 2.8 ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick, who may be starting to get a little bit interested, albeit with a handful of laps left.
Well, to be fair as well, Keogh was actually 0.2 of a second slower than Fraser on that previous lap, so I'm not sure if Keogh made a little mistake somewhere as well that has put pay to his little race. Kevin Zemstra has overtaken Jack Reeve for P9. This was the latest overtaking move. I think Jack had a slowdown penalty, but look at the slipstream here. When you're far enough away, that is absolutely... yeah, it did sound like Jack was lifting actually, but I mean, either way, that's naughty slipstream, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's looking, well, it's looking comfortable if you're sitting behind. Not really nice to see if you're the car in front. Danny Weir inside line now on Ben Chalcraft. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Can he get it out of the corner? Because Ben Chalcraft has done the up and under.
Again.
Yeah, I think, again, Chaz, I'm going to have to go and call the police because we've just witnessed a mugging right there at turn 4.
We absolutely did. Medic, that was absolutely lovely from Ben Chalcraft, and that's the second time tonight that we've caught that on camera. Ben and I get on very, very well. I love the bloke, but yeah, he's gonna be especially endeared to me for capturing that twice tonight. As Jack Reeve has got a black flag. He's been outside of track limits one too many times, and that has put him in the range of a drive-through. Now he's only 13 seconds ahead of Danny Weir. I'm just thinking here, Danny could move up into a point-scoring position here. He's currently just outside the points in 16th, but if he gets promoted with this drive-through penalty for Jack Reeve, then yeah, he's suddenly going to be in a points-paying position. He's got 3 championship points already this season, so it's not like he's short of them, but even more. Oh no. Oh. Kevin has decided to call it quits there. Jack Reeve and Kevin Zemstra coming to blows here. Jack on a black flag as well. That's not going to go down well. I don't know where Kevin was going, to be honest. I think
he gave up quite easily there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Going back into the pit lane.
I know he's been quite frustrated recently as Kevin, but I mean Jack's in the middle of the racetrack. You could argue that Jack shouldn't have been fighting him that hard, knowing that he's got a black flag, but at the same time, I don't know where Kevin was going. Because anyone going down the inside there would expect the car to go all the way over to the left and cut back, but yeah, that confuses me. That I think it's a case of you make your own bed in that scenario there if you do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just going to demote Reeve further as well, which is going to be disappointing for him because he would have been probably around the back of Danny Weir. It's going to be further than that now as he makes his way down pit lane, loses out to Clark, loses out to Tusting. There goes Whitehouse, there goes Kenyon.
He's
in his box.
Yeah. I thought he was driving through Zemstra to make a point, but no.
I hadn't even considered that.
Strange, very strange. The black flag is not gone because he stopped in the box, so he's got to come through again, which really confuses me. Anyway, Fraser Smith continues to lead this race. Jack Reeve has jumped back to the pits with that black flag not clearing, and that will be the end of his race, I am pretty sure. But right now, Fraser's doing an absolutely fantastic job, isn't he? He's actually started to open up that gap a little bit more here, to be honest. He was quicker by 1/10 of a second on that last lap. Keogh is pushing, but it doesn't look like he's going to get that double win again this evening.
No, it's going to be first, and second at the moment. Loses another half a tenth.
What a shame.
We've got, 4 laps to go here because they will just about cross the line after completing 3. But, at the moment, it's going to be enough for Marteau. Fraser Smith would have to make some kind of mistake, I think, to open the door for Keogh Tiago. But in terms of the championship, this couldn't really have gone much better for Fraser Smith. Yes, he could have held on to the lead on that last lap against Marteau in race 1, but he's picking up the big points where it matters. Yeah,
absolutely. Out of a night where you can eventually score 45 points, he's going to come away with 42 on a night where Aaron Smith isn't here. He's going to be absolutely over the moon with that, and it's going to put one hand on the trophy, really. in terms of the Drivers' Championship here in the Formula CDM European Series. What is interesting about the finale is it is a round of the championship that cannot be dropped as well, so a driver cannot just decide to have a bad night to gain points. They are not allowed to drop the final round of the season, so the points as they are after tonight will directly add up to the final round in just a week's time. Philip Miles has been overtaken by Ben Chalcraft. He's now going to try and hold on ahead of Danny Weir, who instead of getting 1 championship point is now on for 2. He wants 3, quite frankly. He's going to go left and then right, trying it on Philip Miles. Later on the brakes, lovely move. It's a bit scary, but he does it. Fair play to him. Philip's going to try and mug him on the exit, and no. Connor Hatfield, well, he could benefit from all of this if it goes something up in the. I couldn't think of a broadcastable word. Sorry, but yeah, he's right now. Danny Weir, well, he certainly caught Philip off guard there. I think Philip was so worried about letting Ben through that he thought, right, now's my time to pounce.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was going on the brakes in turn 4, probably screaming eyes wide, to be honest with you, out of the moving that rear end was doing, but it stopped in time and he's up into P13, and who knows, maybe 4 points if he can get past Ben as well into the final couple of laps. Fretwell still defending from Jack Werrell. Werrell maybe biding his time, twiddling his thumbs until he can move to the final lap.
I was just thinking
because
that.
He's close enough. He's close enough. He's just not going for it yet.
I was about to start wax lyrical about how lovely this fight between these two has been. So much respect, and Jack lifting off like that there just to make sure he's not right up his chuff into every corner. He's not putting pressure on that he doesn't need to put on here. They're just having a really good chase. It's just going to be so heartbreaking and such a betrayal if Werrell sends it down the inside on the final lap. It really will be quite the bit of action to watch. Just like this, Martin Kenyon and David Whitehouse fighting over a top 10 position. Martin on the outside, Whitehouse on the inside into turn 4.
Let's see, is there enough of a run around the outside? No, Kenyon almost having to turn out of that. Maybe he wasn't expecting Whitehouse to be there, but the 29 was there on the inside line, and Kenyon is going to have to sit behind. Inside line again, defensive inside line for Whitehouse. That is going to make sure that he stays ahead, but it is also going to ensure that Kenyon stays close through the end of the second sector. 2 laps to go at the front. Fitzpatrick's a 2.5 seconds behind Hoyland and gaining. That may be one to maybe keep an eye on if Hoyland makes one more little mistake. But even so, we're always just trying to create battle at the front. Incredible how we spent the first 20 minutes not knowing where to look at the front of the field, and all of a sudden the final 20, they've gapped out as if it's gone out of fashion to be next to each other.
Yeah. There was only 1,000th of a second between Fraser Smith and Kio Tiago Marto's last laps, and I think Kio was faster by 1,000, so he's gaining, factually, but yeah, not by a noticeable amount. It stayed about 1.7 seconds, and what you have to say, really, is hats off to Fraser Smith, because he's managed this so well with the fact that he didn't take tyres, and the car that's chasing him did. Kenyon and Whitehouse, once again, providing us with some entertainment right to the end. Chalcraft, Weir, and Miles also having a bit of a scrap. They'll want to catch up with these guys for a potential top 10. Fretwell and Werrell still looking at wedding venues in 5th and 6th positions. Typical that Alex Fretwell is in 5th place, really, because that team and their sort of allegiance to the number 5 this season has been scary as, oh no, that might be why Kio wasn't gaining. No. Kio Tiago Marto is going to have a drive-through penalty on the final lap of the race. Hoyland has got a slowdown penalty. Sam Fitzpatrick is going to go through. Sam's going to get second here.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it, because Marto is, well...
Wow.
Is he going to serve it? Is he going to start serving it? It's not going to officially count, though, if he only half completes it there, right? So...
it'll probably add on to the end of the race.
Exactly.
It'll be like a 40-second penalty or something.
Exactly, and that's killing compared to what it could have been if he could serve it. If he got that black flag 2 corners before, he would have served it immediately and probably saved himself what could be an extra 5, 6, 7 positions even.
Wow.
Hoyland outside line at turn 4 to try and reclaim that P2, or what will become P2 on Fitzpatrick. He's dancing his way around. Goodness me, that's a great line. But Fitzpatrick just about going to hold him off to work through 5.
Unbelievable stuff. Absolutely wonderful racing by all these guys tonight. Kio Tiago Marto will be gutted about that. But what about this man? He needed to come here tonight, Dara, to score some points, and flipping heck has he done it.
Yeah, P2 in the sprint. I mean, P1 in the race. It's been an absolutely stellar evening for him. And, yeah, like you said before, one hand on the trophy. He really just has to turn up next week.
Fraser Smith out of the final corner then takes the victory in the feature race at the Red Bull Ring in a time where he really needed to do that. Thiago Marteau heads for the pit lane at the end to serve his drive-through penalty. Sam Fitzpatrick surely is going to get promoted to second. Hoyland is probably going to get promoted to third. Wonderful racing by both of those guys all race long. Fretwell is going to come home, maybe not in fifth position. He's going to be fourth with Werrell right behind Lee Aberdeen. Wow, what a quiet race from him, but seventh over the line. Stuart Clark is going to be the next car across the line. Round the final corner he goes ahead of John Tusting in ninth position. David Whitehouse is going to finish, I'm sure, in 10th place. Or is he going to just be able to hold off from Martin Kenyon right at the end? They both use every little bit of the track limits that they can. Kenyon with a slowdown that he has to serve before the end. Shalcraft isn't quite going to beat him to the line. He beats Philip Miles and Danny Weir across the line as well. But Fraser Smith, well, that was an epic time to take a win like that. I'd say he outdrove Marteau there, and he had a great battle with him in the sprint as well. Not like Fraser needed a confidence boost, but flipping out, what a night.
Yeah, I mean, he forced Marteau to push hard enough that in the end he picked up a drive-through. And if that is a 40-second penalty, he could even be 10th, Marteau, with how far down he falls. So, incredible evening for Fraser Smith, and puts himself and, of course, the team, who I think now will have wrapped up the team's title.
They have.
Into the best position possible for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Blade Speed Esports are your European Series champions in the Formula CDM European Series. Congratulations, Fraser Smith and Lee Aberdeen. I think a lot of us knew from the random team draw at the start of the season who was going to be taking that crown, but they've done it with one race meeting left to go. DNA Motorsport weren't able to outscore them, and I think Lee is going to come up alongside his teammate now, either to congratulate him or crash into him, one or the other, because there's no team orders here. But you are looking at your team's champions, everybody, for Season 1 here in the European Series. Lovely to see the two of them together, actually, as they enter the pit lane. It's a shame we don't get any sort of animation of them sort of coming in and celebrating, but yeah, the two of them very well done. Fraser does some burnouts to celebrate a great night. And goodness me, it was the time to do it. Good Lord. Results up on your screen now then. Fraser Smith wins the feature race from Sam Fitzpatrick, who scores 25 points. Matt Hoyland next up, Alex Fretwell 4th, Werrell in 5th, ahead of Lee Aberdeen, Stuart Clark in 7th, John Tusting 8th, Thiago Marteau eventually finishing down in 9th position, with David Whitehouse in the top 10. Martin Kenyon finishes 11th ahead of Ben Chalcraft. Philip Miles gets some points at his home race here in Austria ahead of Danny Weir, and Connor Hatfield gets another championship point. Michael Jones and Simon Price have a bit of a forgettable night for Team Verde, with Jack Reeve, Kevin Zemstra and Fabio Grassetto all leaving here, I'm sure, with their tails between their legs a little bit after what was a bit of a scarring second race. Let's just have a look then at the provisional championship standings. Obviously there are potential penalties and drop scores to be considered after these, but that's how it looks now. And boy, you'd be hard pressed to bet against Fraser Smith going into the last meeting of this. Did David Whitehouse just roll backwards down the hill? You'd be hard pressed to bet against him. Lee Aberdeen and Sam Fitzpatrick also in with a shout, really, of taking second from Aaron as well. Incredible how close it's ended up, seeing as it was such a two-horse race after the halfway mark. Fitzpatrick is 4th ahead of Hoyland, Zemstra, Thiago Marteau still on 107 points. Fretwell moves ahead of Reeve, and Werrell moves ahead of Schneebel and Grassetto. Schneebel, we've not seen him for a few rounds now, unfortunately. Philip Miles now on 15 points, moves up into 18th place, and just a bit further down behind them, Christian Rose hasn't been here for a bit, on 14 points. Hatfield now on 9, Price on 6, and Danny Weir on 5. Well, what a night. What a night, mate. That was breathtaking, I think is the word for it, isn't it? Flipping neck.
Yeah, we had 15 minutes where we just couldn't look away at the start. Then we had another 20 minutes of crazy action at the start of the feature. It quietened down a little bit towards the end as the pit stop strategies almost just gapped the field out. But goodness me, there was fighting all over the road, and that's exactly what these cars can give you, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely is, and it's certainly what we look for. We'll, of course, interview first our Race 2 winner, the feature race winner, Fraser Smith. Fraser, talk us through that one, mate. Congratulations, first off. Sorry, but you must be buzzing after that, mate. A massive championship lead now going into the finale. A shame that Aaron's not here to fight side by side, but you had the same last week, I suppose. And, well, I mean, I bet there was a bead of sweat or two with Keogh second there.
Yeah, do you know, I don't know how much you saw at the start, but on lap 1, I went to the outside in turn 2, and I thought, at least if it all goes wrong, I can just take to the escape road. And lo and behold, car straight across the track. So I dropped back, and then I was trying to follow Keogh through, and a couple laps later at turn 1, he must have hit the sausage curb on the outside, and I think he hit Lee nearly into me. I managed to just avoid it. So it was all a bit crazy. But then when I was watching the relative when they were pitting, and I sort of knew the difference between taking tyres or not. And I don't think Keogh took tyres looking at the gap, so I just didn't take tyres. And I came out with a decent gap, but then I had him chasing me for 13 laps or something. So
Scary.
Never checked the relative so much in my life.
Well, we did wonder if you were having a look. Unfortunately, he got a penalty right at the end, and he was eventually classified, I think, 8th in that one. I think he was close on incident points. He did take tyres as well, by the look of it, because he was in the pits for 7 or so seconds while you were in there for 5.5. So I think, in the end, he had to dial it back a bit. But still, a great result, mate, on a night where you had to do it as well. And obviously going to Imola in a week's time, you've got one hand on the trophy now. But how do you feel about finishing the season at Imola?
Yeah, it would be a lot more relaxing than it could have been. Going into today, I knew that obviously me, Lee, and Aaron all had a 0 drop round. So compared against Aaron, anyway, anything today was sort of was profit, if you like.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to not go into Imola with a really tight fight, because it is a bit of a dangerous track. So I will just try and finish.
Well, we know that you like to go all out and all guns blazing, mate, so hopefully it doesn't deter from the action too much. But well done again, mate. A great night for you. And is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
My mates are watching, my dad always watches, and yourself for doing the stream. I'll go and watch it back, and it's really appreciated.
Lovely stuff, mate. Always a pleasure. Well done, and we'll see you in a week.
Thanks, mate.
Fraser Smith there, Dara, clearly very happy with that result here tonight, and it's not surprising, is it, really?
No. When you pick up this many points and your championship rival isn't even here, it goes pretty well, doesn't it? You don't even have to be happy about someone's misfortune in a race. Just by not being here, it means that you can kind of gain that many points and not feel guilty about it. So Fraser Smith will be absolutely delighted, and obviously with the team's championship as well. Perfect night, really. And Imola, as he said, should be a good race to run out a championship, and he knows exactly what he needs to do in terms of the math, so he's in a good spot.
He absolutely is. You can see the interview waiting room this week, can't you? So
I can,
you've
yes.
now got your pick of who you'd like to speak to next.
Ooh. Let's bring in Sam Fitzpatrick, because he came... Ooh. Well, there we go. It did let me. Finished P2 in that second
I
race.
did it, so I don't know.
Maybe it didn't. Sam, welcome in. Congratulations on the P2. Bit of a bonus, really, at the end. You were running in P4 for so long in that final stint. Talk us through the last couple of laps there, because you got P2 on the line, really, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm on a better mood now after that, because race 1 was very frustrating. Where on the penultimate lap I got a slowdown on the last lap, or on the last corner, sorry, and Matt got past me, and then Matt was very generous, and he did the same for me with the penultimate lap, so that was much appreciated. Had a nice battle with him on that last lap, which was a good way to win the evening. And then obviously once I saw Keogh try to come into the pits, I thought, yep, he's gone over the instant limit, so knew that was another position. So P2 behind Fraser, who was much faster, so I'll take that.
And of course, going into next week, final round of the championship, you know kind of where the maths is going to lie. Probably looking for, fair to say, P3 in the championship. Where are the targets?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fraser, I can't catch Fraser now, I'm fairly sure. I think I can still catch Aaron, because I'm not sure if you can drop the last round. I think Aaron's drop score is pretty weak anyway. So I might still be able to catch up to him. Of course, Lee didn't have a great time of it. I guess Matt might still be in it. So, I mean, maybe P2. I mean, the points can really swing very quickly in this series, where it takes us like a lap 1, instant, and you can be scoring next to no points in the second race. So still hoping for P2, but yeah, P3 would be all right. And frankly, after a very compromised season where I don't think I've driven particularly well, I think the top 3 would be fairly good.
And it's going to be Imola next week, which is well known for a couple of lap 1 incidents that you kind of pointed out there. Is that a track you're looking forward to running the season out at?
Yeah, I mean, Imola's a fantastic circuit. I mean, I really enjoyed Hungaroring this season. That was really good last time out. That was a fun circuit. Wasn't such a big fan of Red Bull Ring. I think Zandvoort was all right, I think. But yeah, like I think Imola's one of the best circuits on the calendar. Won't be an easy one when it comes to sort of side-by-side battling. I think there's going to be a lot of sort of, do you go alongside through some of those chicanes, or do you just like slot in line, which might be the wiser thing to do. But should be entertaining for you guys. I think there should be plenty of opportunities with that long pit straight.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, and you're in a good position to maybe get some good championship results. But congratulations, Sam, tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the stream?
Thank you to my family. They tune in for a lot of these rounds, and it's usually quite entertaining. So hopefully they enjoyed today. Of course, thanks to both of you guys for broadcasting the series, and of course putting on the whole championship. I have enjoyed this season, even though it's been very frustrating in parts, mainly down to my own flaws. And thanks to Apex Racing Simulators. I use their simulators, so check out their website, apexracingsim.com. They're based in Corby, and you can try out the simulators that I am trying right now.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, well said. I think they'll thank you for that afterwards. You might get a free trip to Corby if you're lucky. But
he basically lives there, don't you, Sam?
Yeah.
I live 10 minutes down the road, yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. Nice. But yeah, congratulations, Sam. Good luck next week, and we'll speak to you then, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Sam Fitzpatrick, I'm sure, in a much better mood this week than he was after the Hungaroring. I know he was a little bit miffed after the last one, understandably so, after the contacting incidents he had. But yeah, great performance tonight for him. And yeah, that's really sort of launched him back into the championship fight as well. They've all sort of filled the gaps, haven't they, in that top few positions?
They have, and it means that there isn't really too many intervals, so they are all kind of catchable up there, which is exactly what we want to see. 2 more races, more chances. We'll have to wait and see.
We absolutely will, and this man has got a podium tonight, so I'm sure you can hear him smiling already, and he haven't said a word. Mr. Hoyland, mate, you must be, again, buzzing after that one. A solid night and some big championship points. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's been a much better week than it was last week. I'm in such a strange situation. I'm so pleased to get a podium finally. However, I threw away that position with Sam on the slowdown at the end, but beggars can't be choosers. I think I was lucky to be up there in the first place, courtesy of Keo pulling me along for a while. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm not a big fan of the Red Bull Ring, if I'm honest. I was miles off the pace in practice, and then I discovered that everyone was being a bit adventurous with track limits in the last 2 turns. I thought, well, I'll have a bit of that as well. And then I was all right. I was on the pace then. That's where I was losing it all. So yeah, it turned out to be really good fun, actually. I had a lot of good battles. I did actually really enjoy it in the end.
Well, that's the main thing, mate. And obviously, one more round left to go at Imola. You're in quite the fight in the Drivers' Championship. I mean, coming into tonight, you had a couple of guys only, 5 or 10 points either side of you. Are you keeping an eye on that as you go, or just gaining what you can?
Kind of. I mean, I've had a couple of rounds. Like I said, last week was pretty terrible for me. Obviously, a no score in the feature, so I'm not paying too much attention to it because I know I'm not at the very top end, and it's gone a lot better this season than I ever hoped it would, coming from my track record in Formula 1, which is god awful. So yeah, I've just we'll see what happens next week, and then I'll have a look and see where we are. There's no point in me focusing on that because realistically, the order's never in a position where you can worry too much about just beating the guys around you anyway.
Yeah.
Because the cars are so close together, you worry about beating a guy that's 3 cars behind, and before you know it, you've lost 4 places, and you've just got to find what's next to you at the time and see where you are after it.
Well, the final round takes place at Imola next week. What are you feeling about going there? Is that a circuit you enjoy?
I love Imola. I've never driven it in Formula cars. but obviously I've done a lot of GT3 racing there.
Yeah.
It always tends to go very well for me. I know there's been a couple of races you've commented on where I've had good results. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it translates through to a single seater. Hopefully it will. But I would think overtakes are going to be a little more difficult there. I think maybe 1 or 2 opportunities. There's only really one big-ish straight. So yeah, it's going to be completely the opposite to today, I think.
Well, it should still be very entertaining, mate. And before we let you go and prepare for that, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to Sam for donating me a position in race 1, and I donated him one in race 2.
Oh God,
Both
yeah.
of us did the same thing.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we gave each other a position back. So yeah, I'll dedicate this podium to Sam.
Beautiful stuff. Always a pleasure, mate. Great to speak to you. Well done, and we will see you at Imola.
Nice one, guys. Catch you later.
Cheers. Mr. Hoyland clearly very happy after that one as well, Dara. And, well, can you blame him? I mean, a podium in that second race of the night, it's going to mean a lot for his championship. And, yeah, it's gone better than he expected it.
Yeah, good evening all round, really. And on a track where it can either go very right or very wrong, it went very, very well for him tonight. So, yeah, no surprise that he's delighted. Nice that him and Sam had that little bit of a swapping of positions going on there.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that they did a bit of half and half, but yeah, it's part of the entertainment. Another busy night though, Dara, here at the Red Bull Ring, and it sets us up for a fantastic season finale. Looks like Fraser Smith has got it in the bag, but you never know, do you?
Nope, and it's Imola. I think Sam Fitzpatrick said it perfectly. Lap 1 incidents at Imola can be a risk. Turn 1, Tamborelli, then got the Villeneuve chicane, all of the, even Acqua Minerale, places where you can come unstuck, and if you thought the gravel was close, here it's even closer at Imola. Things can go very much right, and we saw how bold Fraser Smith was in trying to overtake Thiago Marteau in the opening race, so you never do know. You're going to have to wait till next week until the checker flag flies to feel absolutely sure about it, I think.
Definitely. Well, thank you again, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the commentary box with me, and I really look forward to the finale. Thank you to all the drivers for putting on a hell of a show. Thank you to all the partners of the series, everyone involved that makes it happen, and of course all of you for watching at home. We hope you've enjoyed the action here tonight in the Formula CDM European Series. Keep an eye out on all the socials for announcements regarding the Americas Series, which will be coming in January next year, and obviously we'll hopefully see you all at Imola in a week's time. But until now, thanks for watching. Oh, sorry, for now. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your night. See you soon.
Yeah.